Hello my stamping friends, it's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. Today we're going to play with a couple of things I have never showed you before. Well, one thing I've never showed you, the other thing I've only maybe played with once or twice. We're going to use some stencils, we're going to use the blending brushes, and then we're going to use some dies. It's kind of different. We're using dies that are part of a bundle, but we're not using the stamp set. We're just using the dies because sometimes dies are awesome on their own. So it's a different card. I think you'll like it. I love the possibilities are endless. But my real purpose was to show you these stencils. It's kind of something new, I guess, I discovered. We've always had them, but I've never used them. They make great backgrounds. You know, so often we're like consumed with, we got to use designer series paper or we have to emboss. Well, you know what? Stencils are great. So I hope you like this. We're going to make a card. I got a couple other ones to share with you today and lots of tips along the way. So if this is your first time watching, thank you. I'm glad you're here. I hope you like my videos. I hope you like the projects and the tips I share. Make sure to subscribe and tell your stamping friends about my videos as well. Now, one thing I always do, every video has a corresponding blog post. You'll find the link to it in the description of this video. And over there will be pictures of the cards I make for you today, as well as a complete list of all the supplies, all the colors, and all the cutting dimensions. So if you'd like to create this card, I try to make it as easy as I can. Just follow that link and get all the details. Now, sit back and watch, and hopefully you'll learn a few tips. Hang on a second. Let's first take a look at these stencils. You'll find them on page 128 of the annual catalog. And I think they're just kind of hidden. You know, we kind of gloss over these pages. It looks like boring ink pads or whatever. And most people think these are really only to use with like the paste. Well, I don't do the paste stuff. That's messy and Jackie doesn't do anything messy. But I finally dug these out. I've had them for a long time. I'm like, these would be awesome just for a card. So that's what we're going to do today. Show you how to make a background using the stencils. And we're also going to use the dies that are part of the Nature's Harvest bundle. Now, we're not using the stamp set. You know, sometimes I know we get really hung up on, you know, dies and stamp sets. You got to use them together. But in this case, these dies are so awesome on their own. Most of the pieces here can make just great kind of silhouette type images. So that's what we're going to use for those. So let's set that aside and we're going to use this one. Then I have a few other samples where I used a couple other ones for you as well. So we're going to go ahead and start out with a piece of Whisper White here. Now this is, let me think, I think it's 4 3/4 by 3.5. Don't quote me on that. Remember, you can check out a blog post and I'll have the link down in the description of the video. That'll take you there. It'll give you measurements, give you the list of all the supplies I used, as well as pictures of the card I'm making, plus the other ones I have to share with you. So make sure you check that out. Now, with the stencils, we are using the blender brushes. Oh my goodness, this is like the new Stampin' Sponges. I love these little guys, and they ink up real easy. Let's see, I should make sure you can see what I'm doing here. And you can notice they just, with a real light touch and kind of a swirl motion, you can get some real nice sponging look, nice color we're laying down. Now, the one thing I found, you kind of dab it on here to ink it up. And when you first start, you always end up with kind of like a little blob to start with instead of that nice, really smooth color look. So what you want to do is place this where you want it. Now in this case, I'm going to just hold it because I'm only going to do this bottom part. If I was going to do the whole front of the card, I would probably tape it down like with some painter's tape or washi tape to hold it in place because you want to make real certain you don't slide it around. But I can hold this one just fine. And I'm going to take this, ink it up, and then I'm going to start off and then slowly just move my way onto that cardstock through the stencil. Again, ink it up, start off, whoops, and just roll it. Kind of give it a little bit of pressure. And what I'm trying to do is get it darker down here in the corner. Okay. And then as we go up, obviously it's just going to get lighter and kind of fade out. So we can kind of keep going, get a little bit up that way, because we only want it down on the bottom part here. That's kind of my goal. So let's see. Ooh, turned out perfect. Look at how easy that is. So this is going to be for our card. Now, as long as, actually, you know what? This is the inside piece. This should be our piece for our card. Let's go ahead and sponge this one while I'm at it. I thought I would just do all of the the stenciling at once here. I had 2 pieces of basic white sitting here, and the inside one is actually a little bit bigger than the outside one. So let's kind of get this outside one going as well here. So we're getting darker down here, and then just gradually little, less and less ink as I move up and out. Let's see. That should be good. There we go. And you know what? Let's just keep the stenciling going. I want to do this corner of the envelope as well. Now let's see. We need to, how are we going to put that on there? I think if we just go this way. Again, I want to have enough space to come start off and then swirl on. Gotta always decorate those envelopes. So even just a little bit of stenciling on that envelope. Look at the nice little touch that adds. Okay, stencil can be a side, our inside piece, and our outside piece. So let's make a card. Now I said we were going to use these dies, just the silhouette part. We're not stamping anything. We're going to go ahead and cut these out. So I've got Old Olive and Soft Suede, and I'm going to take these over to my die cut machine and cut these out, and I'll be right back. Now I know quite a few of you guys already purchased these dies because you purchased the bundle to go with the tutorial I had. Oop, that didn't cut there. That's okay. Must not ran it all the way through. And so now I'm just showing you another idea where you can just go ahead and use those dies. So let's pull that out. Or maybe the flowers or the stamps don't really do it for you. You might want to look at just the dies for these great little floral images. We're going to call them wildflowers. I don't know what to call them. Then let's go ahead, and what we're going to do with these, we're going to make like we'll call it a bunch of flowers, a little bunch of wildflowers. These stems are so thin, I can easily pull them together. So let's take a piece of linen thread, and what I'm going to do is hold this, get all those stems together, and then we'll take our linen thread and we're going to actually wrap it around a couple of times there to hold it. And then let's just see if we can finagle this around here. We got all those little stems and the linen thread. And what I'm going to do is tie a bow. So let's see if we can, there we go. Once you get that little knot in there, then we're good. That was the hard part. Okay, let's keep tying this. Let's get our bow here. I always tie my bows upside down. I think it makes it easier then to get these little tails to come down where you want them. So we'll just adjust this a little bit, get that to the size you want it. Little harder to play around when it's on this. Oh, you know what? This is kind of fed through there funny. That's why it doesn't want to lay good. Phew. Okay, there we go. Gosh, the bow's the biggest struggle of this whole card. Anyone else struggle with bows? Goodness gracious. This is why I use linen thread, not ribbon, because I certainly can't tie ribbon. Okay, we have our little bunch here, and then we're going to take some mini dimensionals. And down towards the bottom, you can see how these pieces are kind of crunched together, and you should have enough room, even if you have to move them a little bit, to get a mini dimensional in there and not see it on the other side. And then we're going to put them up on the 3 flowers there, and that'll really be enough. If you can, see how this one overlaps both pieces, so that'll help hold it all together for you. So we'll pick those off. Let's see, get them. You guys know this little trick, especially with mini dimensionals, if you stab it and kind of make almost like a little check mark, it makes it easy for them to come off. So then we're going to just stick that down. Okay, see how nice that background is now with that little bit of stenciling on there. Now you could have stenciled the whole card, but I really like everything just centered on that one area and then some nice white space. So let's go ahead and we'll layer that onto a piece of soft suede. And then let's go ahead and put it on our card base right away. And then I'll show you what we're going to do for a greeting for on here. There's great greetings in that Nature's Harvest stamp set that goes with the dies. But since I didn't want to use the stamp set, I wanted to just focus on the dies, I grabbed a stamp set called Threw It Together. And there's lots of great greetings in here for just, all different, almost, I guess I'd call them more encouragement type greetings and so forth. So lots of good ones. Now, what we're gonna do is take a scrap paper, and I have one of them mounted here. We'll use our soft suede. You're doing better than you think. So like I said, an encouragement card, it could be for all sorts of reasons. Now, this banner die is also part of this die set. And so it works with a lot of those greetings will fit in it, but it's really too long, and I don't want it that long. So what I'm going to do is move it over and kind of center it up and down, and just a little bit on the edge here, and then we're going to cut it out like that. So hang on. That's how you can get a little bit more use out of some of your dies. Okay, we don't have to use the whole thing. So you get that nice edge on the one side. And then I'm just going to take my paper trimmer and we'll trim it off so it's nice and straight to have a straight edge over on the right side of it. So we're going to add this to the card. Now for this, I think the regular size dimensionals will work. And notice that I am putting them way over on the right and way over on the left. I guess that was the right and that was the left. You know what I mean. And the reason I do that is because I want to put this right over the flowers. And I wanted to make sure that like where all those stems are, and you kind of got that bulk, and we had that mini dimensional in there, that these dimensionals weren't hitting any of that. So we'll just tuck it under that one a little bit. Let's go ahead and line it up with the white side there. And there we go. So there is our greeting on it. And then for the inside, remember we stenciled the one piece already, so we can, let's see, we're gonna layer that as well. We like to make those insides just as pretty as the outsides, and sometimes just the simple little stencil on there, a little bit of layering. You know, I don't think we always think about layering on the inside, but hey, it's just cardstock, and it makes a world of difference. This is light enough stenciling so you can kind of write over it to write a message. There we go. And then we have our envelope to go with it. So I hope you like that card and the tips, but see how beautiful those dies are to use, and then with that little bit of stenciling. You know, we get so hung up on designer series paper or embossing all the time, but sometimes just adding, you know, that little bit of stenciling really makes our card look nice. So let's take a look at some other ones that I made ahead of time when I was playing around. You can see here I used the rich raspberry, and I did a little bit of speckling in the background on that one just to kind of take a little bit of the white away. And this time I used the more daisy one for our image on there. Here's another one like what I made, very similar, but I used green. Oh, I guess that's a different stencil, I guess. Oh, these two are the same stencil, and then these two are different. Here you can see I use speckling as well. So I want to real quickly just show you how to do that. It's something that you see quite often, and it used to intimidate me. I'm like, ooh, how did they do that? So we are going to use an ink pad, and I like to just take a block and pick up some ink, stamp that block right on there. It wipes off. You can clean it real easily later on. And then a water painter. Now these have water in it. It says push on both sides. So if you squeeze where it says push, you'll start getting some drops of water coming out here. Get it flowing. There we go. And what you want to do is just get this pretty watery, okay, and you're going to pick it up with this paintbrush. And then I like to use, we'll use this, something to just tap it on. So you pick some up on that brush, and then you can just see how when I tap, we get the little water speckles. Now the closer you are, the bigger they are. Come up higher and you're gonna have littler speckles, okay? I always like to play around first, okay? Because it's a little scary because I'm like, oh, I don't wanna ruin my card. So we're gonna go ahead and put a few speckles on our card here. We don't need a lot. There we go. We want just a few. It kind of tones down the white a little bit and just adds a little bit more dimension to it. So there you go, my friends. I hope you enjoyed these cards. They were a ton of fun to make, but most importantly, I hope you check out the stencils. It's a very inexpensive way, and combine them with the blender brushes to make some great backgrounds, all different patterns, all different things you can do with them. So make sure to reach out to me if you have any questions or if I can help you with anything. You can reach me by leaving me a comment here on the video, or hop over to the website where, again, you'll find pictures and all the supplies and measurements that I use, and you can contact me through there as well. I'd love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, send you a catalog if you need one, or help you place an order. So thanks for watching. I hope you're inspired and you learn lots of stamping tips. We'll be stamping again real soon. Have a stamp happy day.